Right. So what you want to do is get a hold of the movement component and find the process tick method. And what we can do here is ask our scene object. It has something called physics and velocity x, which tells us is it going, how is it moving on the x-axis. So we ask that if it's less than 0, we are going left. We want our player orientation to be left. This also means that we are walking, and we can go ahead and copy this and say else if it's greater than 0, we are going right, and if we are not doing any of the two, we are not going anywhere, which means our player action is standing. And let's go ahead and run this to see what it looks like. Yeah, pretty neat. So now we need to make our animation follow. I just want to, before we get into the animation stuff, show you that our scene object has a property called flip x. If we set that to true, we mirror it, and we want to do that when going left, and we don't want to do that when going right. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Yeah, he turns around. All we need to do now is when the player has the action walking, we want to show another animation, and we want to swap back to the idle animation when he's standing. So the way we do that is we want to make sure that we're not playing the walking animation prior to this. So we say if our player action is anything else but walking, then we can cast our scene object to a type called animated sprite. The animated sprite has a method called play animation, which takes a animation data, and the animation data we can fetch that from the Torque object database. And let me just remind you that in our builder we have our two animations, the idle and the walking, or run, and we have this name here, idle animation and run animation. We're going to use those now. So if we ask our Torque object database.instance.find object t2d animation data run animation, what we do here is set our scene object to play the drag and run animation, and we want that to happen on when going right or going left. And when we stand, we want to make sure that we are not standing, and we want to shift the animation to idle. Now let's go ahead and see what this looks like. Okay. It runs, turns and runs. Pretty cool, huh? And he can jump and run. And due to a small bug, we can actually do a double jump. Well, it's not a bug actually, it's just a feature. We haven't implemented that he can only jump once. So this was basically what I wanted to show you in this video. For reference, you might want to wrap this code up in something a bit more nicer. We don't want all these the same pieces of code standing multiple times. You want to somehow make a animation handler or animation manager. And might I just add that if you buy the actual platformer kit from the TorqueX website, that kit can do much of all this stuff for you. This is really just basic stuff. yeah. So anyways, if you liked the video or if you found it helpful in any way, don't forget to put some stars on it, and I'll see you next time. Cheerios.